So I figured, because so many of you like the building challenges that I put out from time to time on my channel, I would actually dedicate an entire video to them, because one of the things I've always wondered in Minecraft is what is the hardest block to build a house out of. So yeah, I've built a lot of houses out of single blocks before in the past, such as melons, such as bullet skeleton skulls, such as even an underwater house. There are some really bizarre building ideas, but one of the things I've always then thought is, okay, so what are the hardest blocks to do this with? And I don't know if there are any definitive answers to that, but today I do have 4 really tricky building challenges for using a single block that, if you like to try and use your artistic design to maybe make things better, that you might just enjoy. So yeah, that's what I'm going through in today's video. Hopefully you do all enjoy it. If you do, please do like the video and let me know, because it helps out the channel a lot, and lets me know you do like these kind of challenge build things, and also maybe just like the kind of seeing what's going on here, because I do want to do something with the results. Like, tweet me of whatever you do find, and we can maybe do something with that too. But with that said, let's start with one of the harder, houses to build out of, and of course it's going to have to be gravel. So gravel is a block I have no fondness in my heart for, and I don't think anyone does. No one says, yeah, I really like gravel. It's got a really nice texture, like it looks just great, like a dead well. It's perfect. It's just what I'm going for. I really wanted that in my life. And yeah, basically no one really particularly likes gravel, but trying to build a house out of gravel makes a whole new set of challenges. The first one is, how do you actually make a roof? Because you can see here, I do have a roof made out of gravel, and there's 2 ways. There's kind of glitching your game, so it'll stay in the air, or more realistically, there's just using string. So yeah, string does a whole bunch of magical things, one of which is keeping gravel in the air, and basically, yeah, if you just use some string, which is technically not one block, but who's counting this as a block, then yeah, you can actually do some cool things, such as make this torch over here, or make the roof up there. So yeah, I think that's a pretty cool little use for it, and it's just a bizarre thing you can do right here. But yeah, this is my kind of gravel-only house. As you can see, I've got a garden with some garden fences. I've got, a nice carpet, very, very nicely textured, very unique. It definitely contrasts quite well with the wall, right? This is my bed, and this is my table. And again, I although I don't think this is the worst house ever, like, it actually does kind of look like a real house, and I actually kind of like the idea and want to do it at some point just for giggles. I think the problem with gravel only is it's such an ugly block that you can't be surrounded by it. It's just kind of overwhelming to look at, and maybe, it's one of those things where if you see it too much, the individual ugliness doesn't go too well. But still, I don't like gravel too much. I don't think anyone does, and trying to make a house outfit is a challenge you might just enjoy. So yeah, gravel only house, using string or signs to keep it up if you must. That's a pretty cool idea. Speaking of signs though, to keep the things up, one of the really interesting challenges to build a house is to use signs only. So yeah, this is the second kind of challenge here, and to basically, yeah, a sign house, let's just go through this one right now. A sign house doesn't really function as a house because you can walk through at any point. However, I still put a doorway in mine just so it feels like there's an entrance and exit, and yeah, that's that. So yeah, with that said, let's talk about the sign house and how it's a kind of cool idea. So at first I was just thinking, like, how will you even make this work? But as I went along, I actually really started to like some of the stuff I did, because for instance, first of all, if you look at the walls, you can see how the corners here, one of the corners goes in this way, one goes that way, the other one goes diagonal. I kind of like the effect that it actually gives if you if you look at the third point here. So yeah, it gives you kind of a curved perspective, always a cool thing. But the second point I want to kind of raise here is the fact that if you look at any one of the signs inside, you can make them say stuff. So if you want to have a bed, you don't have to represent it with just 2 gravel blocks like I did before. You can just say the sign's a bed. You can say this is a double chest. You can have a crafting table. You can do all that sort of stuff. And not only that, you can graffiti the walls in the same way. So hashtag blame gravel. Gravel's the reason this house sucks. You could just have this covered in hashtags and make it kind of look like it's darker. And yeah, besides the fact that sign houses are very glitchy, like just look at that. There's a weird render glitch there. I think a sign house is a cool idea that you could probably do something really cool looking with. Again, not functional, but cool looking at the very least. So yeah, second challenge right here, make a house entirely out of signs. I'd be interested to see what people can do with that. So with that said, I was going to ride the pig to the next one, but he's not going to take me there, is he? But yeah, let's move on to the next house, which you can just see from over here. And this is one that does take a few liberties in terms of blocks it uses, but it's one of those really cool ideas that I think actually has some potential in actual Minecraft, like if you want to use this as a real house, because a lava-based house is one that sounds ridiculous, right? Like, make a house entirely out of lava. You might be thinking, how does that work? There's no even doorway in here, so how are you meant to get in? But the cool thing about a lava house is most people sit and just think, oh, it's a big splodge of lava. Like, you probably didn't assume that was a house if you saw it in the corner of your eye. Well, actually, you probably did because you saw the video title. But, you might not have assumed this was a house before, I mentioned it was one. But the cool thing about it is no one's going to want to jump in there because people don't naturally jump in lava. So your house is actually very well hidden. And if you have some extra mechanisms, it can be very, very well hidden. Because the only way into this thing used to be that you could actually hop into minecarts through walls, but you can't even do that anymore. The only way in is to use either 2 items, the potion of fire resistance or an ender pearl, or you can just do what I'm about to do here, and you can take some damage and then eventually fall in some water and hope you don't die that way. So yeah, only 2 ways in and out of the house, ender pearls and the potion of fire resistance. We'll take the ender pearl first just to show you. Pretty handy right there, right? Hopefully I don't die. Okay, I didn't die. But yeah, so pretty handy, right? And then there's the potion of fire resistance, so you don't die. But besides that, no one's going to even want to come in here, because why would you risk that? And yeah, as a result of that, it's a pretty nice, secure house. And it just means your stuff is extra secure, even though you're, just because your walls are made out of something that kills people. Admittedly, you do have to be really careful. Like if I'm over here, if I get knocked back by a skeleton or something, I do die instantly, which is kind of, deadly. But you can do a lot of cool stuff in this place. And I think a lava house is pretty cool by itself. If we remove this stuff, because it should be a lava-only house, of course it gets a lot trickier. But again, I think, allow you to use signs or glass to kind of keep things up. And I think it's a cool idea for a house that I'd really love to see what someone can do with. Because, again, this is just the basic idea I came up with a long time when I first started playing Minecraft. I'm sure there are so many cool things you can do with it now. And I'd be interested to see what could be done there. So, the lava house, genuinely cool idea. I think that this is the one that could probably has the most potential, and if you want to try and, play around with fluids and turn them into a house, this is one you can do that with. So with that said, let's move on to the final kind of build challenge, or at least the final single block build challenge, because it's to do with chests over here. So building a house from chests is something that, at least on the console, has two interesting advantages to, but it's very difficult on any platform, because if you don't know, you have to place chests next to chests of the opposite variety. So this is a regular chest, this is a trap chest. You can tell because... well, you can't tell from the name. I thought it said the name, but you can tell because this is a slightly red thing around the center. This one's, the more normal color. And yeah, this means that if you use these and then you use ender chests, because obviously you can't use... there are some situations where you can't have those next to each other. Basically, yeah, it becomes a really, really tricky thing to build a house. Not only just tricky, though, it also has a really interesting benefit on the console. So if you don't know, on the console, certain things have render distances below that of the world. So because we're on the Xbox One right now, we can see 18 chunks, but chests will de-render after something a lot less than that. I think it's more like 5 or 6 chunks, but this also works vertically. So there you can see my house has just faded away. It looks like it's just a pool there now, but if we do the same using this ladder, so I totally climb it, but I think it's faster just to fly up the way to the top. But if we do the same with this ladder, you can see as we get about halfway up it, it's actually going to slowly fade out, and it's going to look like there's nothing there but water, which means from the top, there's no reason to believe that you shouldn't be able to just jump and land in the water. But of course, the funny bit of this is that... well, actually, you guess you should to save yourself. But yeah, the funny bit is that if you try and land in the water, chests appear and you die. So with that said, pro tip, always check for chests if you can. I mean, it's never going to happen in your real Minecraft world. But the second pro tip here is trying to build out chests is especially hard, but it has a really cool application in that the walls can kind of disappear, and you can kind of hide stuff inside there, like hidden meshes and stuff, and I think that's a cool idea. So yeah, a house made entirely of chests, that includes regular chests, trap chests, and of course ender chests, I think it's one of the harder ones to physically build, especially in survival, but it's also one of the more rewarding ones if you can do it right. So with that said, yeah, 4 super hard challenges for a Minecraft house. There's a lava house, a gravel house, a sign house, and a chest house. I'd like to see if you want to tweet me any of these designs, like a picture, or if you want to send them over at facebook.com/abxclickat, send them to me in any way you can. I don't know if there's like a YouTube comment picture thing, but just send these pictures to me in any possible way you can, and I'd love to see what you can do with either one of these 4 blocks in their own place, but also use all 4 together. I don't think there's too much benefit to a gravel, lava, sign, chest house, but I'd really love to see what people can do, and I'd like to feature in a future video if they're a good enough one. So with that said, yeah, 5 building challenges even for you guys. Hopefully you do all enjoy them. Hopefully someone can do something really cool with it, because I'm always amazed by what people can do with Minecraft. Again, this is just something I came up with by myself in, like a solid 5 minutes before I started. This is just something that I was like, this would be a cool idea. By the way, it's really tricky to make a sign house, because you can't place signs on signs without crouching. Pro tip in case that comes up, like a lot of people mentioning that. But yeah, so let's go back to the point. I thought this was a cool idea, and that was just my little time. I'd love to see what some people could do if they spend a lot of time on it. So yeah, hopefully you did all enjoy the video. Send the stuff to me in any way that you can, or hopefully you just enjoyed it for how it is, because even though these are basic build ideas, I think they're still pretty cool ones, personally. Like the video if you did like it, share if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here. I make videos just like this one every single day on my channel, and if subscribed, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Thank you all very much for watching, and goodbye.